there. And basically that top bolt's on there. They're both on there extremely well. You know, they're Loctited on. So to break that, you need a breaker bar. And I've got my small wrench here. But what I want to do is, normally I'd use a piece of pipe wrench, you know, piece of plumbing pipe, stick it on the end of that, but this one's too long. So I have this, just a plastic tube that's on your vacuum cleaner to extend your vacuum cleaner. Took this from the wife. She'll never know. And I'm going to use that as my breaker bar. Get more leverage on this so I can turn this nut. Basically, see this bolt here with the rubber stopper? Right there, that's your caliper sleeve bolt. You don't want to take that out. You want to take this one out that's right to the right of it. Right where this black piece of metal is, there's a bolt there, and directly underneath there's another one. That's it. So looking at this on my bench, you want to take this clip here, just squeeze it together at the base to remove it. Then there's one here on the top. Same thing, just squeeze it together. Remove that. That just holds those shoes into place. And these brake pads can just slide out. So you want to make a note of the way that's coming out. And in fact, I've got my other one, my new one's right here. Just going to set that up identically so it's ready to go back in exactly the way it came out. I'm also replacing these clips while I'm at it. And I've got the new ones. They came with the brake pads. So you're just going to pop them out and put them in the same way that the old ones came out. While I'm servicing this, I'm going to take out these caliper slides, both of these bolts. They'll just twist right out. And I'm going to pop a little bit of little brake lubricant on it. And stops pad squeal, caliper slides, contact points. So just pop this out. I'll see if I can do it with one hand. You heard it pop maybe, but anyway, that's what it looks like. I'm going to clean that off with a paper towel, re-lube it, pop it back in. I'm going to show you how tough these are seized up onto the dust plate. So I have an extender so I don't hit the side of my car. An extension, I'm using a 3/8 inch drive ratchet, and then I got my piece of plumbing pipe. That's on there. When you're doing something like this, you really want to make sure you're lined up perfectly square on that bolt, because you do not want to strip those threads. So just take your time, make sure there's even pressure there, and those will come off. I just want to show you the break on these. So I've got myself lined up square. Oh, that one went real easy. The last one I really had to give it a whack. Same thing there, nice and easy. I'll try this last one, maybe it will give me a hard time. With this breaker bar, with that leverage, it makes the job a lot easier. And without it, you're either going to mash your knuckles, or you're going to strip your nut. And you don't want to do either one of those things. I also want to point out that I used a little bit of waterproof grease. And I put some on my finger and just went like that around the inside of this hole. And so it'll prevent seizure the next time around when I go to do this. The other thing you want to do is, there's 4 bolts, 1, 2, 3, 4. These 4 bolts, I've got them on the ground here, they're lined up. so they're in the same position I took them out. You always want to do that anytime you can. So these two are in the top 2 holes, those 2 are in the bottom 2 holes. I'm going to add some Loctite on there, medium strength. So Loctite is just to make sure that those, it's kind of like the super glue for bolts if you don't know what Loctite is. I'm using a different product, but that's it. I'm using the blue strength, which is medium. This is Permatex Thread Locker Blue. So you just give it a little dash of that to each of those 4 bolts. And make sure it holds the new hub assembly, which is right here, in place. Something I didn't mention earlier was you'll also want to remove the speed sensor on the back of this assembly. And just coming over the top, I guess I did mention it earlier, but you have to plug it back in. So I came over the top and you can see it. That's it right there. And you want to, I just plugged it back in. It's pretty easy to see. So you'll want to make sure you do that. And now, at this point, I can go ahead and just slip my rotors back on here. Like so. And I'm going to unclip the brakes and just put that whole assembly back on. All right, so that went without a hitch. I didn't film it because it couldn't have been easier. The brake dust cover plate is back in place. There's only one way it can fit on there, so it's pretty self-explanatory. And then the hub assembly itself, this just fits directly in place, same thing. You can't put it on wrong. There's only one way it's going to fit. So I've gone ahead and I've tightened the 4 bolts through these holes one by one, and you want to do it in a lace pattern. So you can always do an X. You tighten that one up a little bit, then you tighten that one, then you tighten the opposing side. So it aligns onto the back plate evenly. Once you've done that, what you want to do is you want to use a torque wrench. If you're not familiar with what a torque wrench is, I've got an American-made Craftsman one here, and there's 2 different types of readings. On this one here, you've got Newton meters on the top, and then on the bottom, it's foot-pounds. So for this job, I wrote the specs down here. For the torque spec for the rear hub assembly itself is 90 Newton meters. The KGF, I don't know what that is. It must be a Euro spec. Or if you want to do it in foot-pounds, this is 66 foot-pounds of torque. So that's what I'm going to use, is 66 foot-pounds. So basically, I'm going to apply pressure with a torque wrench until we get a reading of 66, which is all the way out here towards the end. Same thing, I'm going to do it in a lace pattern. You could call it an X pattern. I'll do one side, come right up onto 66 and release. I'll give it one more shot to 66 just to make sure I nail it.